Hello, everyone. It's Virginia Warren here from Brisbane, Australia, where it's almost summer, so that's why I'm wearing these short sleeves. I'm here for the 11:11 Moments of Love to share some love with you all today. And I am a lawyer and conflict alchemist and co-founder of the organisation called Lawyers for Love. And Lawyers for Love was founded because we feel that there needs to be more love in legal practice. So we're doing whatever we can to bring love into that space. So today what I'm going to talk about is how to be a little bit more loving, or how to find love when you're going through a separation. Now, when we're going through a separation, it is one of the most painful experiences of your life. And that could also relate to any dispute you're having with anybody in any relationship, because generally speaking, if you're in relationship to somebody, you have some investment. There's some investment of emotion or personal power in that relationship. And so you want it to go probably the way you want it to go. So how do you find love in those situations when those relationships are breaking down? Well, I personally have recently been through my own separation. So I work in family law. I'm a general practitioner, or have been, and I am transitioning out of the legal space because I don't believe in the rules of it. So as I transition through that, I am moving, and I'm showing you all how we can deal with each other in relationship to each other in a more loving way, because law is about rules and structures and systems. And when we're in a family law space, it was told to me one time, I'm also a collaborative lawyer. I've trained collaboratively as well. And the reason we do that is because we hold space for each other when we're trying to sit in a circle and say, well, okay, let's not talk about fault, but let's talk about what we each need and want from this relationship as we move forward. And that's a beautiful way of doing things. Unfortunately, some of the lawyers that call themselves collaborative lawyers aren't that. They don't know how to hold space for themselves, let alone for somebody else. And that is really of vital importance in when you're choosing a collaborative lawyer. Make sure that they can do that, which is wonderful. That's a wonderful area, but I've even moved further than that. So when you're, yes, experiencing a separation from somebody else, where can you see find something loving in it? Well, I've found that when I just went through my own separation, and this is very new for me, to sit on the client side of the lawyer's desk. So it made this more relevant for me to share with you what it is like, what the system is like. So I'm talking from the present legal system, and I'm sure it's the same in most countries, because I know that nobody appreciates the legal system when they're going through a separation or a divorce. When you are going into your lawyer's office, the first thing I want to talk about is they know nothing of you. You'll go in, and somebody explained it to me, and I don't have a piece of paper handy, but you've got your whole life written down and say a piece of paper. You fold that in half, and the lawyer gets to hear that half. The other side gets to hear the other half, so that's a quarter, and then you break it in half again, and then that's what gets delivered to the court for a bit of information. The judge hears half of that again, and so on and so forth, until really nobody hears you at all. Nobody hears you in the system. It's a system. It pushes you through to get a result. Now, that's all we have right now, and that institution has been around for eons, and people think it's the way we need to go, because people are looking at separating their property and who's going to see children, and these things do need to be organised. Let's not be mistaken. But there are better ways of doing it. Now, you're going to that system to be heard. That's what you want, but you're not getting that. Now, Freud said that healing, or listening, is healing. So when you're hearing somebody, you're helping them heal. But they're healing themselves, and I've spoken about this before. All healing is about the self. So you're going into a legal system, you want to be heard. Effectively, what you do when you go into your lawyer is you're saying, here's my problem. You take it. I can't handle it. You deal with it. You handle it for me. And you're saying, I don't want this problem. You take it, you be my parent, and you go and fix it all up for me. They don't. They can't fix it for you. Only you can fix it for yourself. This life is about your own experience. And when people understand that, that's when real healing begins. It has nothing to do with anybody else in your life. All of your relationships are there for you, for your own experience of them. So if you're saying, for example, I want my partner to do this, or he's or she's treating me badly, your reaction to that person is the key. Your reaction to your partner is showing you how you deal with your own life. And this is where we're going wrong. We're handing our problems over to a lawyer and saying, fix it, rather than taking our own problem back and saying, what's in it for me? And this is what a lawyer can do instead, is say, okay, you've come to me with a conflict. What's happened here? Let's talk about you in all this. So for me personally, I'm not going to go into detail for me at this stage because it's all very new and there are other parties that I need to be considerate of when I'm talking about this. But it is my experience. It has nothing to do with my ex-husband. This is all about me and how I experience the world. Let's just say, for example, that I was in a relationship that had some anger about it. Well, that was my anger to deal with, because when I saw an angry person around me and I wanted to reject that anger, I'm saying I reject anger. Now, why did I say that? Because I have a little rule that says anger is unacceptable. And do you know where that came from? It came from when I was a child, as does for most women. Don't be angry, be a nice girl. Be nice. Don't assert yourself. People don't want to see pushy, bully women. And just as an aside, this is what's happening in the legal profession for women. We can't bring love into the law because we've got to be boys. We've got to be strong and stand up in court for our client. We don't want to see any emotion in there, but not connecting with the emotion of a human is not connecting with a human. We are all emotion. That's who we are. We're experiencing machines. So when I take this back and say, okay, what I saw in that relationship was I rejected anger. What did my partner represent? That partner represented, among many things, but anger that I couldn't accept. And I couldn't accept it in me because when I was little, I was educated, like, as I said, most women, be nice, don't get angry. So I create this little rule that keeps me safe in my tribe. And I let that run with me for all of my childhood. And then I bring it out into the adult world. Now, until we learn how to experience all of life, all of ourselves, we cannot be whole. And until you're whole, you're not content. You're always looking for that wholeness. So for me, that was the most valuable experience of my life. My marriage was that valuable experience. Because without that, I wouldn't have found my own anger. I was then able to find rage. That was a big deal. And I don't know about many of you, but women particularly, rage is a very difficult emotion to connect with effectively. Now, that's not to say, you go around smashing things up. That's not it. It's about being able to feel it and know that it exists for you. It is there for you. It's a part of you. You recognize it and you say, that's okay. I see your rage. I see this. You are a part of me. You are my other self. And this is wholeness. This is love. When you accept all of you for who you are, all of you, then you are in love. And this is why when you go through a separation or you are in a relationship with anybody and having a dispute, you look at yourself first. What is my experience in this relationship? How do I feel when I'm in this relationship? Is there something that's making me feel a little bad, edgy, off? If yes, then you have a little rule that's been created for you in childhood, a rule that you've carried through to your adult life. Basically, somebody else is making a choice for you, and someone, and they were usually your parents or your teachers or somebody, and don't blame them. That's nothing to do with them. This is the rule you've created for your own growth, and that's another story. But you've created this little rule in your childhood, and it is preventing you from making better choices. So, for example, I won't go near anything that could make me feel angry because that's then limiting my choices. That's probably not a great example, but it definitely helps. Or rather, what I do is I choose to. This is a better example. As a female, and I will say this, and I've shocked people by saying it, but it is the fact, and I can say it because it is my life experience. As I say, words don't teach, experience does. My life experience says in domestic violence, women that are the victim, and I like to call us experiencers, not victims, because victims is a label. Yeah, you can have experienced victimhood, great, but you don't hold it as a label because that's not who you are. You are love, but you've experienced that. And you can say, I am an enabler. So it's limited my choices. When I'm in a relationship where I have given my power away because I want to be a nice girl, I don't want to cause trouble. I'm a peacekeeper. I want everything to be nice. I haven't been able to set myself a limitation of saying, no, hang on a minute. That makes me feel a little angry. I am not going to allow you to do that to me. I am walking out the door. Now, there can be all sorts of energies going on, and your partner will have a reciprocal energy. And usually with men in the relationship, it's about sadness. Boys are not allowed to cry when they were young. Don't be sad. Be tough. Be a man. And the moment we show men it's okay to own that aspect of themselves, the dynamic of humanity will change. More compassion will come into the world. The legal system might change, because there's no patriarchy. It's the beautiful feminine coming in. We are all masculine and feminine. We all have all aspects of us if we are to feel in love, in the space of love. That's absolutely important, that we remember that all aspects of us are vital. We are, as I like to say, experiencing machines. If you are having an experience, experience it. What the common saying is, whatever we resist persists. So if you resist that experience, I went through a court matter as the client, and it was awful. That experience was humiliating. Nobody heard you. And it was beautiful because I sat with the experience and thought, wow, this is what people feel. And I sat in it. And it was amazing. And if you look at every experience in your life as absolutely amazing, you have accepted it as part of you. You have let it flow through you. If you're pushing an experience away, as I say, within any dispute, in any relationship, if you're pushing that away from you, you're actually resisting an experience. You're trying to hold back the wall of a dam that wants to flow through. Because at some level, you've created it. And it needs to be experienced by you before it can flow through you and move on. because then you've had the experience. You don't need the experience any further. And I can categorically say that's happened to me. So within the legal system, when we're going to a lawyer, what we're doing is we're asking them, and we're paying them good money to ask them to please let me resist this experience, because I don't want to experience it. Here, you take it, you handle it for me. And effectively, you're not doing any service to yourself at all. You're prolonging your own agony, because you might come out and we say in the legal system, win, lose. Well, there's no win, lose. It's lose, lose. Because when you go into your lawyer, they'll try and find your good case. They'll say, well, I see that you've done this, this, and this, so you'll win on those points, and you'll win and win and win. No one wins. Let's be very clear on that. Nobody wins in the legal system, because it's separating everybody. And when you're separated yourself from your problem, you haven't owned your own experience, because this, again, is about you. It has nothing to do with anybody else but you. Embrace it, love it. Yes, it will be painful, but at some time, at some level, it's a pain you need to experience. We are running through this life not experiencing it. We are here to experience it all. And trust me, I know this. I know this. And the legal system, it could show up and say, well, and lawyers are beginning to understand this too. Because when a lawyer is dealing with bringing people apart, people are saying, well, why am I paying you for that? Because everyone's dissatisfied in the system. It's at an unconscious level. We're all dissatisfied with being separated from one another, because that on-flow effect is a ripple effect. Your children get affected, their friends hear about it, their other families feel about it. Families are cut off from families. Oh, you're not allowed to talk to this person anymore. And that's silly. Why? It's just disconnecting. We all know we're all connected. So it is the absolute antithesis of who we are. So why are we pushing for separation all the time? The legal system, in my opinion, has run its course. It's defunct in that situation. And that's why people are anti-lawyer. Yeah, it's a contradiction. You want your child to be a lawyer to be successful, then you go and hand your problem to a lawyer, and then you're not satisfied with it. Why? Because you are continuing the separation. They're helping you separate you from all that's going to help you, going to benefit you in life. And they're not listening to you. They're just processing you further from the separation. So, of course, you're not going to be satisfied with that result in the end. And what's going to happen then is, even if you thought you winning, is you're going to repeat the pattern. Because wherever you go, you take yourself with you. So the idea behind all this is beautiful stuff. If people go to their lawyer and say, no, I want you to look at my problem and see what's happened to me in this. And people will say to me, oh, isn't this a question for a psychologist? And I say, well, yeah. But people don't go to a counselor or a psychologist first when they have a problem with somebody else. They want to blame somebody. Because when we start owning our own problem, and when we've learned to own our part in it, and look, sometimes it can be difficult to find where you created the rule, and that's where I do teach you how to find the rules you've created, because they are unconscious, they're in the dark, you don't know they're there. But when you shine a light on them, you'll find them, and then you can self-validate. Because when you're going to a lawyer, you want them to validate you. You want them to say, oh, you're right, I'll show you how to win. But it's a fallacy, because they can't validate you, only you can validate you. The power is all yours at all times. Your experience, your life, your ability to self-validate. You get to choose to be in love. You get to choose to hear yourself. Yes, you can have facilitators to hold space. But even with the psychology idea, that lawyers are rejecting the notion that I talk about, because they're saying, well, yeah, psychology, this is psychology. And I say, no, it's science. It's all energy, all physics. It's not psychology or law or anything else. The fundamental aspect of all this is science. And when we can understand that we're all working with energy and it's our own, and how we've allowed other people to take our energy, take a piece of our power away from us, to shift the dynamic, because we don't want to own our own energy and rely on our own power sources, then we're in a position where we really can't find the love for ourselves anymore. So yes, how to be loving during a separation is just sit with yourself at all times and see, make a mental, put a sticky note on the fridge. How do I feel? Now that could be like absolute crap. You could be feeling like crap, but embrace that. That's the start. Wow, how do I feel? Because most of the time, most of us aren't knowing or even engaging with how we feel for ourselves. We're not checking in with us. We're looking for the chocolate bar or the shop or the pokey machine or the alcohol or something else to dull the feelings, get rid of them. No, check in with how you feel. Sit with that. Get a friend to support you. Say, I'm feeling lousy and I just want to sit with that. Could you be with me while I feel this? And as you sink into your feeling, as you sink into your pain, you expand it out, it slowly dissipates. I know it does. I've done it. So how to be in that place of love is checking in with you and seeing what's in it for you. This is about you. It's like a gift. And it heals you. And that's in every relationship. Every relationship in your life. My mantra, again, I say is, how do I feel? How do I feel? How do I feel? How do I feel? That's how I go through my day. If something pops up, how do I feel? Check in with it. Is it a rule I've created? Is it something I can't move past without examining it? Or it's just like, whoa, yeah, that got me off. It got my anger up. Great. You can be angry. You can experience this or that, rather than rejecting it. Like, oh, that makes me angry. I'm going to push it away. No. It's like, whoa, that made me angry. Fantastic. Okay, move through. Why did it make me angry? Is there something there I need to work with? No. Okay, keep moving. So use these experiences, and I'm not saying that, go separate from people, but just use every experience that you have with somebody as an opportunity for your growth. It's an opportunity for you. Love everybody. They're there for you. They're in your life for a reason. Thank them. I thanked my ex-husband for that. Not personally, because he's not talking to me, but I have sat in so much appreciation for the whole experience. I wouldn't be talking to you about it otherwise. I am truly blessed. So thank you for tuning in about these beautiful experiences. I am going to bring on some other lawyers to talk about their love practices within their legal practices over the next coming weeks. I have, just subject to time zone permitted, I'm very excited about it, because lawyers are putting their hands up. They want to bring love into the legal profession, because it's dissatisfying for the lawyer, dissatisfying for the client. Very happy, very, very happy to be able to share that with you all. And I will see you next time. Thank you.